By this point, the HOA had become a recurring source of chaos in my otherwise orderly farm life, and their next act of audacity pushed them into dangerous territory. One morning, I received word that my shed, an essential structure for storing tools, crops, and other critical farm supplies, had been razed by the HOA. The excuse, of course, was as absurd as it was infuriating. They claimed the shed was an unauthorized structure that somehow interfered with community aesthetics and property values. What they failed to realize was that the shed was not only functional but legally compliant, with proper permits dating back years. When I arrived on the site, the aftermath was startling. Splintered wood, scattered tools, and upturned soil marked the area where my shed had once stood. At first glance, it appeared that all was lost. But I didn't panic. Instead, I saw an opportunity. The shed had been removed, yes, but what the HOA didn't know was that the area could be transformed into something even more useful. A massive crop storage facility directly adjacent to the leisure pond they so valued. I immediately began work, directing the animals to assist in their own way. Horses helped move equipment and act as sentries. Geese patrolled the perimeter to prevent further intrusion, and goats helped transport smaller items with their nimble agility. Within days, the site was converted. The pond, once a leisure spot for HOA officers and neighbors, was integrated into a larger system designed for crop storage and irrigation. Protective barriers were installed, channels were redirected, and the farm's infrastructure expanded seamlessly into the space the HOA had foolishly disrupted. Meanwhile, the HOA, expecting compliance or perhaps remorse, was confronted with the unexpected transformation. They arrived to inspect the damage, only to find that the razed shed had become the hub of a new, fully legal, and highly efficient crop storage area. The pond, previously a leisure feature for the community, was now a functional part of farm operations, integrated into irrigation and storage in a way that maximized efficiency while remaining fully compliant with environmental regulations. Karen, naturally, was incensed. She waved her arms, shouted about violations, and demanded immediate explanation. I calmly walked her through the legal documentation, showing permits, agricultural certifications, and environmental compliance letters. Every argument she made was met with evidence and logic. The horses, standing nearby, stamped in unison as if reinforcing the authority of the farm, while the geese and goats flanked the perimeter, ensuring that no further mischief could occur. The incident became a turning point in the ongoing saga. What had begun as a destructive act by the HOA ended up enhancing the farm's functionality, demonstrating that their interference was both futile and counterproductive. Neighbors who had once considered HOA opinions seriously began to recognize the absurdity of their overreach, especially when it consistently backfired in spectacular ways. By the end of the week, the shed incident had transformed into a narrative of triumph. The farm was more efficient, the animals remained vigilant, and the leisure pond, once the pride of the HOA, had been repurposed into a critical element of agricultural infrastructure. Karen had learned another lesson. Meddling in farm affairs without understanding the ecosystem, the law, and the animal's role in enforcement would only result in personal frustration and the inadvertent strengthening of the farm. As dusk settled over the fields, the animals roamed freely. The irrigation channels reflected the last light of the day, and the transformed pond stood as a silent testament to cleverness, planning, and resilience. The HOA's attempt at destruction had not only failed, it had provided the farm with an opportunity to evolve, adapt, and flourish in ways they could never have anticipated.